Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy Edit. Today's video, I am bringing you guys a first-round NFL mock draft, in which I'm going to be doing a little bit of trading in this video. Just a couple of trades when I see fit. So if you guys do end up enjoying this NFL mock draft, as we are approaching the NFL draft in just a couple of weeks, it's getting closer. So I'm going to be ramping up the amount of mock drafts I do to about 2 every single week until we hit the NFL draft beginning on, I believe, April 29th. So at any point inside this video, if you do end up enjoying, you want more NFL draft content, you want more NFL content, mostly I post fantasy football content, but around NFL draft season, I do really like to talk about the 2021, and obviously last season I talked about the 2020 NFL draft. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I don't want to spend too much time discussing this pick because, like I say in every single video, it is a no-brainer. Right now on DraftKings, the current line for Trevor Lawrence to be the first pick of the NFL draft to the Jacksonville Jaguars is minus 10,000. You are going to have to bet so much money just to win a couple of dollars. So that basically means it is a guarantee in Vegas's eyes, and it's a guarantee in everyone's eyes as well. After, I would say, at least the last 2 years, it feels like it has just been known that Trevor Lawrence would be the guy going at number 1. Originally, we thought it would be the Jets, but then the Jets inevitably accidentally won a few games with Adam Gase, and now we are here with the Jaguars at number 1. Trevor Lawrence, touchdown Jesus, out of Clemson. Seems like a no-brainer pick here for the guy who won the national championship in his freshman year. Now on to number 2, we got the New York Football Jets. Now, most draft analysts and most people just talking about the NFL draft are saying the draft begins at pick number 3 with the San Francisco 49ers, because at number 2, the pick also seems about locked in. Now, the odds aren't as much in favor of Zach Wilson as they are of Trevor Lawrence going number 1, but at the end of the day, it seems like the Jets are going to, and kind of have already made the pick in their head, that is going to be Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. Zach Wilson does a lot of great things in his game. One of those is being his very strong arm strength, as well as his kind of movement outside of the pocket. Now, he doesn't necessarily put up these big rushing yards numbers like a guy like Trey Lance, but I believe he will be able to do it at the NFL level. Now, is this the best landing spot for Zach Wilson? Probably not, because I feel like whichever quarterback goes at number 3 has the highest chance to succeed, at least in season 1 of their NFL career. Going to the San Francisco 49ers, I think eventually the Jets will turn it around, but this is going to be a 2 to 3 year turnaround. I don't think it will be instant. Now, obviously, under head coach Robert Saleh, it could be possible that just having a new head coach there, kicking Adam Gase out, having a new quarterback, getting rid of Mono Man Sam, who is now on the Arizona Cardinals, not on the Arizona Cardinals, on the Carolina Panthers, I should say. Now things are just wide open and everything's going to be fucking cupcakes and roses. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't, but Zach Wilson seems like the no-brainer pick, at least at this point. The only other pick I could see it being is Justin Fields, but I'm almost at like a 99.99999% chance that it's going to be Zach Wilson here, quarterback out of BYU. So now, like I said, the draft really has begun at this pick. Now, previously, everyone was talking about how, holy shit, it's going to be Mac Jones here. They moved up from pick 12 all the way down to pick 3 through that three-way, the Menage a Trois trade with the Dolphins and the Eagles. They're sitting here at 3, and for some reason they moved up to draft Mac Jones. The odds of Mac Jones going the under 3.5 picks, meaning he would be picked at pick 3, was minus 250 2 days ago. Now, it's getting a lot lower. It's seeming like maybe Mac Jones won't be the pick at pick number 3. We saw Kyle Shanahan go to Justin Fields' second pro day, so maybe this pick is going to be Justin Fields, like I've been predicting for a decent amount of time now. Now, a lot of these mock drafts are going to still be predicting Mac Jones to go there, as he is still the odds-on favorite, but personally, I believe it is going to be Justin Fields, quarterback out of the Ohio State University. Kyle Shanahan has worked with Justin Fields in the past, and I think that, to me, this is kind of a layup of a pick. Now, it's probably not a layup at this point, right? Because it seems like a lot of people are talking up Mac Jones as well. Maybe it's 50-50 at this point as I'm doing this mock draft on February 15th. Maybe, not February 15th. Geez, we're already in April 15th, I should say. Maybe a couple weeks from now, by the time the NFL draft comes, we'll have a much better idea, but based upon what we know right now, I think Justin Fields will be able to get it done in San Francisco and probably have a great year, given they're going to get rid of Jimmy G. He will probably go in there and be the starter instantly, and I think he is going to have a lot of time to develop in a good system there in San Francisco that is going to be able to roll out production from day one. We saw Big Dick Beathard last year performing. They had another quarterback as well, plus Jimmy G play last season, and they were all pretty solid. Fields does kind of have an issue with making more than one read because he's typically throwing it to his first read. But again, when the first read is open, why would you look to the second or third read or the fourth read or look for the check down? I don't know, but I do think that Justin Fields is going to be talented in the NFL. He does have a very strong rushing upside as well, which is very good for fantasy football. Again, this is just an NFL draft video, so we're going to lean with Justin Fields at this pick out of the Ohio State University. Maybe he can prove the Ohio State name, at least when it comes to quarterbacks, wrong, because after Dwayne Haskins, people seem to be a little bit scared. That's honestly why a lot of people are besmirching Justin Fields' name. It really has nothing to do with Justin Fields' play, with his pro day, with anything we've seen him do. It kind of more just has to do with the fact that he went to the Ohio State University, which to me is a fucking dumb argument. So we're going to go with Justin Fields here at number 3. Now we're sitting here at number 4, and while the Atlanta Falcons team need is quarterback, the more and more I keep thinking about this, the less and less I feel like there's going to be 4 quarterbacks going in the first 4 picks. Now, that's a lie, because I think actually it is possible that 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks, but I do not believe that the Falcons will be making this pick here, and if they do, I don't think they're going to be looking to draft quarterback Trey Lance or Mac Jones at this pick. I think they'd actually be more interested in tight end / offensive weapon / offensive unit / menace to society Kyle Pitts tight end out of Florida. Now, there are a couple of possibilities of teams that would move up. Now, obviously, at 9, it is very likely that the Broncos can sit there and get Mac Jones. But do the Broncos want Mac Jones? Do they want to draft Mac Jones? Or do they want to get a little spicy and draft Trey Lance? Mac Jones is kind of the boring pick, right? He's the guy that doesn't do what now the 2021, I just said 2021 too many times, but the prototypical NFL quarterback today does, right? When you think of the most fun quarterbacks to watch, you got Patrick Mahomes. Now, Trey Lance runs much more than Patrick Mahomes, but he can get out of the pocket, right? The old prototypical quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, who won MVP last year, so obviously you can still be very good in the NFL being a pocket passer, right? Which is obviously should be known, everyone knows that. Tom Brady still balls out, but the new kind of, what it's looking like the new breed of quarterback is a guy like Trey Lance, a guy who can rush for 1,000 yards, which he did in college. He threw 30-plus touchdowns, no interceptions in 2019, but he is more of the raw quarterback. This guy is a raw dog quarterback. You put him behind someone, he sits there, and he learns. And he learns. And then, bada bing, bada boom, 2-3 years from now, you throw Trey Lance in, and he is going to be cooking up some defenses. That's the thought. But at pick 4, I don't think that the Falcons are going to want to go and reset the whole fucking franchise. Matt Ryan still has a good 2 to 3 years left in him, in my opinion. They still have Julio Jones. They still have Calvin Ridley. They have Hayden Hurst. So adding another weapon like Kyle Pitts makes sense here, but I think they end up picking up the phone and someone is going to come calling. Now, there are multiple teams, like I said, that can do this. The Broncos are one. Originally, my thought was the Panthers would be one as well, but obviously they signed Mono Man Sam Darnold, or they traded for Mono Man Sam. Another team that could do it, obviously, is the Eagles, but I still think they're very much sold in on Jalen Hurts. Another one is the New England Deflatriots, and another one would be the Washington Football Team and the Chicago Bears. Seems like everyone else either got their quarterback here earlier at picks 1, 2, or 3, or kind of have a quarterback. Maybe the Steelers want to get a quarterback, but I don't think they would trade up to get one with Big Ben. So I think there are only a couple options here of teams that will trade up. And for the sake of this mock, we're going to see the Denver Broncos move up, because I don't think the Broncos are going to make the same mistake of drafting another guy that's just going to sit back there and not run out of the pocket. They've done it with Paxton Lynch, I believe his name was, who fucking sucked. Drew Lock. I don't think he's ever going to get the chance again. He'll be a backup in the NFL. He's a fun player to watch, but he doesn't get it done. I think the Broncos end up making the move here with the Atlanta Falcons to get their new quarterback in Mr. Trey Lance. Is this possible? 100% in my opinion, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and have the team move up here. So again, as I do in every single one of these mock drafts, I just go ahead and assume that it's probably going to cost a shit ton of picks to move up in picks. Now they're going from 4 to 9, so maybe it won't cost as much, but I'm still thinking the Broncos are going to have to give up a first, a second, and at least one more first. Now, it might even cost an additional first after that. Again, I'm no fucking NFL draft sharp, and most people aren't going to be able to figure out exactly what a trade like this will entail. Maybe some players get flopped or get switched around, and then maybe they don't have to give up 2 firsts, maybe just 1 and a second. Again, we're going to hope that the Falcons end up accepting this offer so that we can go ahead and move on with the video, and they do. So now the Denver Broncos are up on the board at 4. If you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. So at 4, the Broncos are up here, and they are going with Trey Lance. I just do not believe Drew Lock is going to be given another chance, and if they go into next year, Drew Lock will still be on the line or in the lineup, right? Maybe he'll even start the first couple of games, but eventually Lance will be the guy. But if they don't end up getting Lance, they don't end up getting Mac Jones, right? Maybe they are sitting there at 9 in the scenario where they don't trade up here, and another team comes calling for Mac Jones. Maybe they trade it. They trade the pick, and then they draft, or they don't draft anyone, obviously, because they're going to go further back. They'll draft some other position, and then maybe they trade for Gardner Minshew. I think that would be very fun. I think Gardner Minshew will end up potentially getting traded on draft day, and that is going to completely fucking mind-boggle everyone, because, at least in my opinion, Gardner Minshew was given the wrong end of the stick last season. I think he could have been the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He would have tore it up, but instead, they wanted to get Trevor Lawrence, so they take him out, put in giraffe neck Mike Glennon, and now that's where we're at right now with them, with Trevor Lawrence. And Gardner Minshew probably pretty sad, because let's be honest with you, even if Gardner Minshew isn't amazing, it's like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Everyone just loves those two guys. At least I have never really seen someone who hates Gardner Minshew or Ryan Fitzpatrick. So at number 5, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I'm seeing a whole lot of smoke about them drafting Ja'Marr Chase or Kyle Pitts. But I've said this in every single mock draft, and I will continue to do it. Now, I understand some people might say, oh, Nick, maybe you switch it up and you want to draft Pitts or Ja'Marr Chase here. But I frankly don't know what the fuck they are doing if they don't draft a guy to protect Joe Burrow in the first round. You get a generational tackle. Now, again, they could move this pick. They could trade it away to a team skyrocketing up to draft Mac Jones. That would be unreal. 5 quarterbacks go in the first 5 picks. It is possible, but I think they're here, and I think they just go ahead and select Mr. Penei Sewell, however you pronounce his last name. I apologize, and if he heard me say this, and I apologize, or I pronounce his name wrong, he could probably beat the shit out of me. This guy is absolutely huge. He's like 300 plus pounds. It doesn't even say it on here. Just kidding, it does. 6'5", 325. This man is an absolute unit, and he is going to be great in Cincinnati, protecting Mr. Joey Moneyboy B. At number 6, we got the Dolphins, my Miami Dolphins, wearing the shirt, wearing the hat, got the fucking logo hanging up in the background, got Dan Marino hanging up in the background, but again, I'm not biased in these drafts. I'm not trying to make the Dolphins have the best draft ever. I'm just drafting how I think Brian Flores will be sitting there thinking. Now, I read some alarming news yesterday that the Dolphins and Brian Flores especially, B-Flow, he loves Micah Parsons out of Penn State. Now, so do I. I love the linebacker. He didn't actually play last season. He ended up opting out. A couple of players inside the first round ended up opting out as well. But he loves him. He wants to draft him. Will he fall to 18? I don't know. Is Flores crazy enough to draft him here? 100%. 100% Brian Flores could draft him here, but I think Flores knows that Tua needs these weapons. If he drafted Tua to become what we believe Tua will be, 1 year off the injury, getting the full fucking offseason to practice, to prepare, we need a wide receiver or a tight end. Now, we already have Mike Gesicki, but again, Kyle Pitts to me is one of those guys that he could be the slot guy. But Will Fuller's the slot guy. But he could play slot, right? You could move Will Fuller around. You can move Devontae Parker around and make sure that Kyle Pitts gets out there. But then there's also Ja'Marr Chase. But to me, with Ja'Marr Chase in this lineup, I'm not sure where he fits because him and Parker kind of do the same job, right? So does that mean Parker gets traded if they draft him? I actually think so. So I am going to lean with my pick here, and we are going to be drafting. Actually, I won Kyle Pitts last time, so we're going to go a little bit different here and draft Ja'Marr Chase, but I would love Kyle Pitts to be a Miami Dolphin. At number 7, we have the Detroit Lions. Now, they're sitting here. They just traded away Matthew Stafford a couple of months ago for Jared Goff. They probably don't love Jared Goff, but I don't think they'd replace him just yet. I don't think so. I think they're looking to draft some building blocks around the team before they do that. Now, typically in my drafts, they're sitting here. They're sitting pretty because typically I pick Pitts to go to the Dolphins. But again, I wanted to switch it up, so Chase goes to the Dolphins. Now, at number 7, do they reach for a wide receiver or do they just go ahead and pick Patrick Surtain? Because I think Surtain fits very well on this defense. They need a reinvigorated defense. Their defense is not very good. They lost Slay last season to go to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just not the same team. They're really starting from scratch. So I could see them going with Patrick Surtain here. I could also see them ending up going with Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. It would make a whole lot of sense to just start building more of a better offensive line to protect Jared Goff, but I think ultimately in this scenario, they end up drafting Patrick Surtain, cornerback out of Alabama. At number 8, we have the Carolina Panthers, and here, this is kind of a no-brainer pick with Patrick Surtain gone. I think they are very happy here potentially drafting Rashawn Slater, but Kyle Pitts is here. They don't really have a tight end. They have so many weapons now that it's kind of scary. Will Darnold be the guy? Probably. I think Darnold will actually be able to get it done at the NFL level. Will he be the guy that the Jets drafted him for, like a potential top 10 guy in the NFL at the quarterback position? Probably not. But will he be serviceable and better than Teddy Roosevelt, a.k.a. Teddy Bridgewater? Probably. So we're going to go ahead here and get another weapon. Imagine how a defense has to figure out how to stop this team. You got run CMC Christian McCaffrey, who's going to get 1,000 receiving yards next year if he stays healthy. This guy's a menace to defenses. You have him. And then you have DJ Moore, one of the most underrated players in the NFL at the wide receiver position. And then you have Robbie Anderson. And now a linebacker that had to figure out how to cover. DB had to figure out how the fuck to cover Christian McCaffrey. Now someone has to figure out how the fuck they're going to cover Kyle Pitts as well. This offense would be super hot fire. I spit that. 2.5 men. I watch that. I'm drafting Kyle Pitts here, even if it is not one of their top 2 needs. So at number 9, we are back with the Atlanta Falcons here. And maybe this is the ideal scenario for them because they moved back and they can go ahead and get their quarterback here that maybe they wanted. They move back, and maybe they're able to get Mac Jones. Now, it would have been interesting if if the Carolina Panthers ended up not drafting Florida tight end Kyle Pitts, ended up drafting Rashawn Slater, and then they get the guy they could have gotten at pick number 4 where they started, and then they could have gotten Mac Jones. They could have gotten Kyle Pitts at 9, but obviously that's not how the cookie crumbles here. And now we're sitting here at 9, and I don't think they're going to draft Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones ultimately falls in this mock draft, and I think that they would just play it safe and draft Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. There's a lot of talk about him potentially being better than Sewell, but ultimately I do not see that. Now, at pick number 10, the cookie cutter pick of them going ahead and selecting Patrick Surtain is gone in this scenario. Now, their second biggest need is interior defensive lineman, but I do not believe Christian Barmore would end up being the pick here because it seems like a little bit of a reach, so I think they end up still drafting cornerback here. Now, obviously, J.C. Horn has skyrocketed up the rankings and the big boards of every single website where you can do a mock draft on because Caleb Farley ended up having to go ahead and get some back surgery. Will he be good before the start of the season? Probably, but that will scare some teams away, and ultimately, I think J.C. Horn, Go Cox out of South Carolina, he was looking like the clear number 3 corner in the draft. Well, he was like the 2, right? Because Surtain and Caleb Farley were the 1A, 1B. He was just behind them, but now he's being talked up as being with them, and now he's going ahead of Caleb Farley. We see J.C. Horn go at pick number 10. Again, maybe something comes up in Caleb Farley's medicals. He's cleared, blah, blah, blah. Something changes, and boom, he's there, and they fucking just draft him at 10. But I really do think Horn will get drafted ahead of him at this point where we are looking at pick number 11. We got the New York Football Giants. Now, the Giants don't need a quarterback. But Mac Jones is there. Look, now, I don't hate Daniel Jones, but I haven't seen anything out of Daniel Jones except for when he ran super fast against the Eagles last year. I think they said that was the fastest a player ran last year, which made no sense, but this guy looked like fucking Lightning McQueen off the line. He sprinted. It had to have been like 60-plus yards and just falls. It was hilarious. I was watching at the bar with my friends. I'm not a Giants fan. Again, I'm a Dolphins fan, but I live in New Jersey, so all the Giants fans were pissed off that he didn't score. I think they ended up losing that game. It is what it is. I don't think they end up picking back Jones here, but it is an interesting spot if Jones falls this far, that maybe he ends up being the future quarterback of the Giants, but I think they end up giving Daniel Jones just one more shot at it, and I think that now this offense does look good with Kenny Golladay, with Darius Slayton, with Sterling Shepard. Golden Tate is gone, but they also brought in Kyle Rudolph. Evan Ingram is still there. There's no tight end here, obviously, in Kyle Pitts. Maybe that would have been the pick. I still think the Giants are very much in play right here to draft a wide receiver. I think that they could go ahead and draft Devonta Smith or Jaylen Waddle and send Slayton or Shepard directly to the fucking gulag and just go ahead and trade both of them away or one of them away for a second-round pick or something. Maybe even a later pick than that. And just being fine with it, right? But there's also a chance that they go ahead and select the best edge rusher still available, which to me would be Jalen Phillips. Some people do like Azeez Ojulari better. There's also a chance that they go ahead and just draft Micah Parsons and play it safe. I think that in this scenario, if we didn't end up seeing the back surgery by the cornerback out of VT, whose name escaped me, Caleb Farley, then maybe Caleb Farley would have been the pick here or J.C. Horn. But I ultimately think they end up just drafting a wide receiver. I understand it might be a little bit crazy. It might be a little outside of the box. But it was also a little outside of the box to draft Daniel Jones over some of those guys. So it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and select Jaylen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama. At number 12, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Eagles are notorious, like my YouTube name, bad at drafting wide receivers. At least recently, that is with Mr. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside a couple years ago, Jalen Reagor last year. I think Reagor actually could turn it around, but I think they end up getting Hurts, a new shiny weapon. I don't think they're going to be, it was funny as fuck last year. Do you remember, guys, during the NFL draft last year when it came out that the Eagles want to be a quarterback factory? Maybe they're a fan of Alabama guys, obviously. Jalen Hurts went to Alabama before he transferred. So maybe they draft Mac Jones, only kidding. They're going to end up drafting a wide receiver here. I think that while Christian Darrisaw is very good, they don't necessarily really need an offensive tackle at this pick. So I think they end up going with the Heisman man, Devonta Smith, a.k.a. the Slim Reaper. This guy, fucking insane, obviously. Waddle did go ahead of him because I think Waddle fits better in the Giants' offense. So I think Devonta Smith here being the number one wide receiver on the Eagles could be very, very juicy out of Alabama. At number 13, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If Smith fell to 13 or Waddle, would I be surprised if the Chargers got another weapon for Justin Herbert? No. The safe pick here, obviously, is the thought that they just go ahead and select Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. They want to go ahead and protect the boy Justin Herbert, but there's also potential that they want to beef up this defense and make it a little stronger. Maybe they just go ahead and draft Jalen Phillips, edge rusher, out of Miami, and that's what we're going to do on this mock draft. Jalen Phillips really was not a household name at all. Not at all. Until last season, because he got a lot of playing time after Gregory Rousseau ended up opting out for Miami. Rousseau was initially looking like he was going to be a top 10 guy, and then he kind of flies back. He's been flying back even further. Now it seems like he's not even going to be a first-round pick, so Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami, joins with Joey Bosa and friends in LAC. At number 14, we have the Minnesota Vikings. But the question is, do the Vikings make this pick or do they trade back? Is a team looking to jump the Patriots at 15 to go to 14 to get Mac Jones? Because if Mac Jones falls to 15, it is inevitable, Thanos style, that fucking Mac Jones goes, I feel like, to the Patriots. So it's either right here, full-on panic from the Bears, the Washington football team, to get a quarterback, maybe even the Saints. Maybe. Probably not with the Saints, but again, you never know. The only teams that need a quarterback anymore here are the Bears, or the Washington football team, or the Patriots. Maybe the Raiders, probably not though. They're kind of just stuck with Derek Carr because Derek Carr's a little too good to be gone. So, does it happen? Do one of these teams pay up to move up a couple of picks to snipe from the Patriots, or do the Patriots, the fucking Sith, I would say, of the NFL, the Dark Lords team, at 15, get Mac Jones? Realistically, I think if Washington or the Bears have the chance to move up here, they do it, and we'll see the Bears do it again. They moved up to get Mitchell Trubisky a couple of years ago, instead of drafting Patrick Mahomes or a guy's name who we do not speak of right now, Deshaun Watson. So, what happens here? We're going to see if this ends up working. We're going to go ahead and move the Bears up to get the Minnesota Vikings pick, because fuck the Patriots. In reality, it is entirely possible that the Patriots end up getting Mac Jones if this is how it plays out. So we're going to go ahead. This is just wrong. I clicked on the wrong fucking teams here. We want to click on the Minnesota Vikings. I clicked one off. So the first round pick for the 14th pick, we're going to need to trade a second round pick and probably potentially even a future first round pick, but we're going to do a future second round pick for this to end up working. I'm sure it will. Again, guys, I'm not some type of, oh, the Vikings declined it. The Vikings said, instead of you like that, like Kirk Cousins, we don't like that. All right, so I tried to do this trade with the Vikings and the Bears, and it doesn't seem like it's going to end up working. So this just in, it has switched. And instead here, we are going to see the Washington football team make a move up here, since the Bears don't want to fuck up and trade up for a quarterback again. Respectable at this point, so we're going to have to do a first and a second to move up a couple of picks. Again, maybe the picks will be different if this was to happen in real life, but the Vikings accepted the offer. You like that. Now the Washington football team is up here. They signed Taylor Heineke to a 2-year deal. They have Fitzpatrick for 1 year, but how beautiful would it be for Mac Jones to learn behind the king himself, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and now Mac Jones is the future of the Washington football team, and the Patriots are grade A mad, but now they can just go ahead and make an alley-oop pick here. Bill Belichick, Micah Parsons, they seem like a match made in heaven at this pick. There's really no wide receivers here that I feel like the Patriots would go ahead and pick at 15, so we're going to go with Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State, who's apparently very good at hazing. At number 16, we have the Cardinals of Arizona. I always, for some reason, say the Cardinals name wrong with the Carolina Panthers. Again, it makes no sense. They don't even have a similar logo, not even a similar animal. But it still always happens. So at 16 here, we're up with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals definitely wanted a corner. They definitely did, but Horn is gone, and so is Patrick Surtain. So, is it possible that we see them reach and pick Gregory Newsome, or that they still believe that Caleb Farley will be fine, and they draft a corner? But they could also just go ahead and select the best interior offensive lineman, which is a position of need for their team. So we're going to end up doing that and going with Elijah Vera Tucker. Obviously, I know the Cardinals want a corner, but at this spot, I think this is probably the safest thing to do. Again, running back would be interesting, but with the fact that maybe not a running back even goes in the first round, that maybe they just want to go ahead and wait till the second round and try their luck and hope a guy like Javonte Williams falls to them in the second round. At 17, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I know Raiders fans don't love going O-tackle here, but because they kind of feel like they filled it up a little bit, but I mean, if Darrisaw is available, he's looked at as being amazing. I understand people are scared of Tevin Jenkins because the guy is dressed, or not dressed, he just has he wears fucking glasses that make him look stupid as fuck. But he's also, according to a video I watched, the biggest, what was it? It was something, the title of the video was, this is the most alpha player, something crazy. Like, this is the coolest player, the best player in college football, and it's just a picture of him with those stupid glasses. Dude is insane. Physical player, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State, but Darrisaw is better. We're going to go with him here at pick 17. At 18, my Miami Dolphins are up. We ended up going with Ja'Marr Chase in with our number 6 overall pick. So we are here, and I think the Dolphins end up just going ahead and drafting an edge rusher or a linebacker here, and I am very happy that the Dolphins will end up being able to get Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker out of Notre Dame. Now, I want them to draft Najee Harris here, but the more and more I think about it, the less and less likely I feel that the Dolphins will end up pulling the trigger here. I think that Coach Flores is fine with running, again, with Myles Gaskin and with Salvon Ahmed, so I think that they end up going with J.O.K. here, the Joker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. At number 19, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and it's called like Minnesota because they moved back to get Mac Jones to be drafted to the Washington football team. So we're here. We'll chillax and all cool next to the pool, playing b-ball after school, something like that. That's the fucking intro to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that I completely botched right there. But we're here, and I think that this right here is sadness for them because they might have been able to get Elijah Vera Tucker if the Cardinals went ahead and drafted the corner that they may have needed. But now, at 19, we have the Vikings potentially being able to draft Newsome or him, but I think that they are also in prime position to draft Trayvon Moehrig here out of TCU. It seems more and more like this guy's going to end up being a first-round pick, and this is a nice landing spot for him in Minnesota. At number 20, we have the Bears. They didn't end up being able to trade up for their quarterback. Why? Because whoever the fuck is running the draft network didn't want them to. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Bears for not wanting to do it, and now they're here, and I think that most fans would want a wide receiver. Who knows what's going to happen with Allen Robinson? They ended up franchise tagging him. Does he want to stay there? Now, Allen Robinson seems like a guy who doesn't give a fuck about playing football for a team that sucks as long as he gets his bag, which is respectable. He likes that money. He went to the Bears instead of going to the Green Bay Packers a couple of years ago, which to me means he just wanted the money. Again, nothing fucking wrong with that at all. I really respect it. He's one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, in my opinion. He can do his thing in Chicago. Maybe they want another guy. Maybe they don't believe in Darnell. Here comes the money. Seems like Anthony Miller is reported to get traded as well. So maybe they do want to get Rashod Bateman at this pick, but I think they end up just playing it safe and protecting the Ginger Ninja in Andy Dalton and drafting Tevin Leroy Jenkins, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State at number 21. We have the Indianapolis Colts, and here is where I ultimately see the point where Caleb Farley is given the chance. Now, again, I understand if a team wants to draft Greg Newsome over him because Greg Newsome, there's no injury liability. There's none. As long as he doesn't get hit by a fucking car or something, knock on wood, he'll be fine. So Caleb Farley will be the pick here, though. Ultimately, I think he does not make it outside of the first round. At 22, we got the Titans. Now, the Titans are a team that I just think will draft a wide receiver. Now, easily they could draft Gregory Newsome at this pick out of Northwestern. People are really talking up Mr. Newsome out of Northwestern, and I like it. Frankly, I just looked at my phone, so I forgot what I was talking about. But no ifs, ands, or buts like Miley Cyrus. While cornerback is potential here, I think they need another guy with A.J. Brown. I don't think this offense can run correctly without another wide receiver, but the offense is limited or the defense is limited without another corner. The defense was looking like shit with Mr. Moehrig going to Minnesota. That's not an option here, so we are going to ultimately fall on the trap and draft Greg Newsome, corner out of Northwestern at 22. At number 23, we got the New York Football Jets, and I think we could see a a threesome, a triple run here on cornerback, but I think a lot of edge rushers are still available, and the New York Football Jets would be very happy with Azeez Ojulari here. Now, I think ETN or Najee Harris would be in play here, but they have a very early on second round pick to the point where I feel like they would just wait on the running back and hope that one of the big three fall to them rather than missing out on Azeez Ojulari or Kwitty. Yeah, we paid. Now, Kwitty Paye was originally looked at as being potentially the best edge rusher in this draft, the best D lineman in this draft, but now he's fallen. But we are going to end up drafting him out of Michigan to the New York Football Jets. I like him slightly more than Azeez Ojulari. At number 24, we have the Steelers. Now, the Steelers don't have as early of a second-round pick, so are they going to be the first team to bite the bullet and draft a running back? James Conner is gone. He's gone. He's in Arizona. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. I probably sounded like a fucking dumbass. There's probably already comments. Oh, Nick, Arizona's not going to draft a running back. They picked up Conner. Stupid of me to say. I apologize for past me. But that's in the past. I can't fucking fix it now. We can't go back to the future. We're in the future. And here, the Jets already picked Kwitty Paye. Kind of in a scenario where a corner is needed. They kind of need O-tackle. But the fun pick here is running back. And I'm all about having some fun. So we're going with the dual threat. Both of these guys, dual threats, Travis Etienne, as well as Najee Harris, as well as Javonte Williams, all the big three running backs in this draft. Williams, Harris, or Etienne are dual threat running backs. I think Najee Harris just does the best, and ultimately, I think he is the numero uno running back drafted off of the board in the 2021 NFL Draft. At 25, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got Trevor Lawrence, touchdown Jesus at 1. Now, a lot of people are talking about how Trevor Lawrence's team is just putting out all types of weird stuff right now, making Trevor Lawrence seem like he doesn't care about football. All these other things, again, I know Trevor Lawrence loves football. It should not matter at all. He's still going to get picked number 1, but Twitter is always going to nitpick all type of other things. So we're up here at 25 with the Jags. They already got their future quarterback. They could go O-tackle here. I don't think they end up going wide receiver. I've kind of explained this multiple times, but they brought in Marvin Jones. They have baby Chark, baby Chark, DJ Chark. They already have Laviska Shenault out of Colorado, who they drafted last year. So why would they look to draft a wide receiver? I don't know. And why is running back listed so highly? They just brought in Carlos Hyde. They got James fucking Robinson on a $2 a year deal because he's an undrafted free agent. Why are they getting rid of him? Like, what are they? I don't get that thought process really at all. I'm flabbergasted. But again, maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars trade away my boy Gardner Minshew. But we are on the clock here. I don't think they go receiver. I really don't. I don't think safety is really in play here either because we already saw Mo Rig go. So I think they just end up playing it safe and drafting O-tackle again. Maybe not as fun, but Samuel Cosmi is the pick here at number 25 and 26. We have the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns just signed Jadeveon Clowney. So, does that change my thought process on what they're going to do here? Maybe. We've seen Clowney get passed around like a hoe as of recently. He's played on a couple different teams recently after getting drafted. But he's also he switches around positions, you know? He's doing doggy. He's doing reverse cow. He's doing cowgirl. He's doing missionary. He's doing fucking 69. He's doing it all. So, it's a 1-year deal worth $10 million, so that's not going to really impact the draft, right? You want to think? So I think they end up drafting Azeez Ojulari and creating a tag team of him and Myles Garrett for the future. Next up at number 27, we got the Baltimore Ravens. A nice AFC North rivalry, back-to-back here, 26-27, back-to-back Michael Jordan, 96-97. Woo! Very important and very pretentious, but I don't want to keep singing the Drake song because I don't want to get copyrighted because I know I sound just like the boy from Toronto. So we're up here at number 27, and we're looking for an edge rusher here, and I think that they end up drafting his name is Jason Away, but I don't think they actually do that. I don't. I think they need a receiver. They just fucking do. They need someone else on his team. Watkins is not going to cut it. Hollywood Brown is not going to cut it. Their best receiver is J.K. Dobbins, and he's a running back. Maybe Mark Andrews is better than him, but again, it's just a shit show in Baltimore. Obviously, you can draft a receiver later, but I think they'll be very happy selecting Rashod Bateman, wide receiver, out of Minnesota. At number 28, we have the team named the New Orleans Saints here, and I think the Saints also probably want to draft the wide receiver to get a number 2 because they just lost Emmanuel Sanders. There's always the talk of Tre'Quan Smith having that breakout season. If you look at Roto World or NBC Sports Edge, which it is now, they've been saying that Breeze has been saying Tre'Quan's going to break out for like the last 3 years. He hasn't yet. Maybe he does with famous Jameis Winston, but they kind of need a receiver, but I don't know if they pull the trigger here. I think with Jason Oweh still available, that is possible, but ultimately the pick is going to be Eric Stokes, corner, out of Georgia. Now, we are back up on the board here, 29 with the Packers. Now, the odds-on favorite for this pick here is for the Packers to draft a wide receiver according to the DraftKings odds I looked at earlier. But to me, the Packers will never please their fans. They're just going to tickle the balls of the Packers fans, all the owners of the Packers, because the Packers have a bunch of owners because, or at least I think that's how it works. Like, you can just buy shares of the Packers. I don't know how that shit fucking works because I'm not a cheesehead fuck like Aaron Rodgers, but they want receivers. Rodgers wants a receiver. Are these receivers sexy names, though? No. No, but they kind of need another guy there, but they're not going to do that. And I can guarantee you they're not going to do it. I think they end up drafting Asante Samuel Jr., son of Asante Samuel Sr. now. Former NFL cornerback who was this just in very fucking good. At number 30, we have the Buffalo Bills up on the board here. They already went ahead and are not going to end up drafting a running back, even though it's so fun, right? Imagine how good this Buffalo offense would be if they weren't shrunk down by bums like Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss could be pretty good, but Singletary is already a certified fucking bum in the NFL. This guy's never going to amount to anything. I fucking hate Devin Singletary, so we are up on the board here at 30, and we're not going running back. Again, even if the running back is fun, I don't think they end up doing it here. The corners are not looking super juicy, but I do still really much like Jason Oweh. I also would say that Faramath would be a solid pick here, but I don't think he's even going to be a first-round pick. He's nowhere near Pitts, so I don't think he ends up going there, but it would be nice to see the Bills with a legitimate tight end. But here, we're going to end up drafting... Actually, do we cuck the Bucks and go with interior defensive lineman Christian Barmore here? No, I don't think we will. I think we'll just go safe and draft Jason Oweh, edge rusher out of Penn State. Next up, we got 31. We got the Chiefs with, they need an O-tackle, allegedly. They kind of got some more O-tackles back there, so I'm not too sure. They definitely need that. Linebacker is definitely an interesting pick here, and I am a huge fan. Now, Jamin Davis has been getting pumped up the draft board. I don't know too much about Jamin Davis because I didn't really hear about him until recently. As I'm not someone who watches Kentucky football, I'm more about watching some Kentucky basketball, but they kind of suck this year. But Jamin Davis is a guy skyrocketing up the draft board, so don't be surprised if he gets picked in the first round. We're not going to pick him. We're going to go with my boy, Zaven Collins, ride the wave out of Tulsa. And now at 32, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 32, even though Taylor Swift was feeling 22. We're going with the layup every single time. We are going to go with interior defensive lineman Christian Barmore out of Alabama. So the draft has concluded. I will scroll down so you guys can go ahead and pause if you want to reread the draft or anything. But thank you guys all so much for watching. I've been recording for 50 minutes. Stuff gets cut out because I check my phone because I get a message and I think that it's fucking urgent. But it's just Adam Schefter tickling my balls, retweeting something useless. So have a great rest of your guys' day. I do love you all. Thank you guys so much for the support recently. Almost at 12,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can hit it before the 2021 NFL draft kicks off. And maybe we'll hit it during the draft. I love you guys all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Stay safe. Happy Thursday, boys and gals. I know there's a couple of girls who watch these videos, so shout out to you. But have a great rest of your guys' day. I love you all. Good boy.